I want to just give you a brief description of what demons are as I understand it. My understanding is limited, but I'll give you the best I have. I think the best thing to say is that they are persons without bodies. Demons have real personality. They have distinctive personalities. One demon is not exactly like another. I remember something so vivid. I was dealing with a man. His wife had come to me and said, "Brother Prince, my husband needs deliverance." And I made a mistake. I prayed for him on the basis of what his wife asked, you see? I never have done that again. If he needs deliverance, let him tell me he needs deliverance. When I started to pray for the man, and he started to get violent. And his wife drew me aside and said, "Brother Prince, at home he throws chairs at me." So I said, "Well, why didn't you tell me that before we started?" Anyhow, the demons were speaking out of the man, and one of them said, "I'm unclean." And I thought, now, I don't want to embarrass the man in front of his wife. I could think of all sorts of unclean things that might be the problem. But I said, you spirit of unclean thoughts, come out of the man. He said, "That's not my name." I said, "Come out anyhow." He said, "That's not my name." I mean, you can't easily understand how much of an individual a demon is. It wanted to be recognized by the right name. Well, eventually it came out, but the last thing it said before it came out was, "That's not my name." I'm trying to impress upon you the fact we're dealing with real persons with characteristic attributes. I've already pointed out, and I'll say again, two things. First of all, the word is not devil. The word devil comes from the Greek word diabolos, which means a slanderer, and is a title of Satan himself. The things we are dealing with are daimonions, demons, and they are not devils. They are another kind of being. Where do they come from? Well, I don't believe anybody has an absolutely authoritative answer. In my thinking, the most probable explanation is they are disembodied spirits of a pre-Adamic race that perished under the judgment of God between Genesis 1:1 and Genesis 1:2. I'm glad to discover that our pastor more or less thinks the same. Am I right? Good, thank you. That's encouraging. I mean, we may be wrong, but that's the best that I can come up with. But the most distinctive fact about demons is they desperately crave to occupy a body. They are not satisfied until they get inside a body. Preferably, they would occupy the body of a man or a woman. But rather than be disembodied, they would rather go into the body of pigs. Because you remember, the man of Gadara, the demons said, "Send us into the pigs. We don't want to be disembodied." What they didn't realize was that going into the pigs would cause the death of the pigs, and they were left after that with the same problem again. But what I'm trying to deal with is you're dealing with a person who hasn't got a body and desperately craves to be in a body because, as I believe, only through a body can they exercise their ungodly lusts. If it's a demon of alcohol, it has to have a human throat through which to consume. If it's a demon of sexual immorality, it has to have sexual organs through which it can operate. If it's a demon of hatred, it has to have emotions that it can play upon to work through. In other words, we are surrounded by an invisible host of persons without bodies, desperately craving to occupy bodies.